Hello everyone and welcome back to the Ryan Retro channel. In today's video we're going to be looking at secret console emulation using the Odin 2 portal. And with the LEDs customized to be blue and red like this, is it just me or does this look very similar to a handheld that's coming out soon? And that is actually inspiration for the video I'll be releasing on Wednesday, so make sure you're subscribed to see that one. It should be really fun. But jumping into today's video, I have a lot of games I can go through and test out for you guys, and please let me know if you'd like to see any others that are not covered in this video. I think the obvious place to start with secret console emulation is with Little Prince Boy. One thing I've noticed about secret console on the Odin 2 portal is that a lot of the time games don't launch and need a couple of tries to get them running. Although that could be related to the version of Citron I'm using, which is I believe version 0.6 and has some issues compared to 0.4. So if you are going to try this for yourself, I recommend Citron 0.4 because it's more stable. As you can see by the frame counter at the top right of the screen, the frame rate should be sticking around 30 frames per second, which of course is the maximum for this game. It also looks incredible on this screen, and just so you guys know, this is the base model of the Odin 2 portal, so anything you see me doing in this video, you should be able to replicate for yourself. And all of today's games are being tested at 1x resolution in docked mode, which means 1080p, matching up with the 1080p display we have on the portal itself. As I run around here, you might be able to see these black lines in the grass, and there are weird lighting effects and lighting flickerings in most games that I play, whether it's on the secret console, Windows, or anything else. That's an issue that isn't present with the Retroid Pocket 5, because we have that beautiful 9v2 turnip driver that seems to just fix every problem. As of yet, I've not found the perfect driver for this device, so I am using all kinds of different drivers. Turnip 23, 24, 25. I'm mixing and matching and finding the best for each system. So I will leave a little note at the bottom of the screen showing which I'm using for each game. As you can see, gyro is working absolutely fine. We can aim our bow with the gyroscope inside the Odin 2 portal, which is very fun. And performance here is really nice, even at 1080p. I do feel the occasional dips down into the mid-20s, but for the most part we are hanging tight around 30 frames per second, and we don't have any issues with water. The Witcher 3 is a game that was completely unplayable on the Retroid Pocket 5, getting only a handful of frames per second, and it just wasn't possible to play. Here on the Odin 2 portal, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Sometimes the frame rate's dropping really low, and sometimes like this we're getting almost a solid 30 frames per second. Once again, this is at 1080p with 1x resolution, and I have tried lowering the resolution, but I didn't find it really helped anything. So we're sticking at 1x 1080p resolution here. The Witcher is a really beautiful game, and one that I've always wanted to play more. So if we could get a solid 30 frames per second here with a little bit more tweaking, this could finally be the time I play The Witcher 3. I have a feeling it might run better on Win later, and I do own this on Steam, so I'll try and play it there. But for anyone who does want to try The Witcher 3 on Secret Console, it is actually playable here. It's not a perfectly smooth experience, but it's one that definitely is playable, as opposed to the Retroid Pocket 5 where it was completely unplayable. So if I am to make a Secret Console spreadsheet for the Odin 2 portal like I did for the Retroid Pocket 5, I would definitely say this is in a playable state. Next up we have Plumber Voyage. Once again, running at 1080p. This time it's a 60 frame per second game, and as you can see, we're usually getting around 60 frames per second. But like the other games so far, it can fall down sometimes when more is happening on the screen. But for the most part, it feels very nice and smooth. With all of these games, of course, it would be better to play on the original hardware, but the fact you can play the games like this is excellent. Especially when we can also play so many other systems on here too, as I'm going to show on Wednesday's video. So if you'd like to play some Plumber Voyage, you absolutely can do it here on the Odin 2 portal, and you'll have a pretty nice experience. And playing this retro style minigame makes me think about another game I'd like to show you now. This is Alex Kidd, and I'm going to use this game as an example to show you how to fix a common problem. This game is really cute, and I'm not sure if it's a remake of one of the originals, or if it's just a new entry in the series, but this actually is a game from the 90s, something I didn't know in my Retroid Pocket 5 video of this, and I got absolutely crucified for in the comments. But if you touch the R2 trigger like this, it actually changes back into that original 90s version, even with the sound effects. Listen to this. But now let me show you the problem with this game and many games on the Secret Console on the Odin 2 portal. When we switch back into the more modern graphics, look at this glitching down here. It's unfortunately really common in games on this console. So how can we fix this? Well, the only way we can really fix this is just by playing around with different drivers. So if I quit out of the game and hold my finger down on the game itself, we can come into GPU Driver Manager specifically for this game, and we can choose a different driver. Now, I've tried quite a few drivers at this point, and almost all of them have that flickering issue. Turnip Driver 23, 24, the System Driver. The only one that I found can fix it is that 25.1.0 Mr. Purple driver, the same one we used to play The Witcher. So changing the driver to this one, and then jumping back into the game with our custom driver configuration, you can see that flickering is thankfully now all gone and everything looks great. So we can play in the classic mode, or we can play in the more modernized version, and everything looks wonderful. So now you're free to play Alex Kidd, which I now know is a 90s game, so please forgive me. While we're on the topic of easier to run games, I will do what I do in almost all of my videos, and that is recommend Tennis in the Face to absolutely everyone. It doesn't matter if we're doing secret console emulation, PlayStation emulation, Android gaming, whatever it is, everyone should be playing Tennis in the Face because it's absolutely hilarious. The game's fun, it's simple, it looks incredible on an OLED screen, the music's good, the sound effects are great, and I think the game's only something like 50 megabytes or something. It's well under 500 megabytes, that's for sure. And it's just so fun to smash a clown in the face like this. Need I say more? Jumping back into the high end now. Another little Prince Boy game here, this time Cries of the Monarchy. This one is not working well at all. You might see graphic glitches appear all over the screen. The frame rate is mostly low. The frame rate can sometimes get up to what looks like a smooth 30, but then once again drop down before you know it. I'm having a lot of problems with this game, regardless of what driver I use. Right now, we're using driver 24.0.0, which has been quite stable in a lot of games, but as you can see, it has too many graphical issues. That 25.1.0 Mr. Purple driver that worked well in some other games doesn't even load the game at all, it just crashes upon launch. And if we change to the System Qualcomm driver, we once again get very strange textures appearing all over the screen and worse performance. So this is a game that I've not been able to make playable right now, but I feel could be playable if we can just get a good driver. So maybe some others in the community might know how to get this into a playable state, because the frame rate here is not too terrible. We just need to optimize it. So I am hopeful that in the near future we can get this working, and maybe some smarter people than me already have. Another game that I'm using that built-in Qualcomm driver with is Stardew Valley. This is a game that doesn't, for whatever reason, really like turnip drivers that much. It seems like loading has frozen once again, unfortunately quite common with this version of Citron on the Odin 2 portal. So I am probably going to downgrade it to 0.4 soon, to see if that helps with stability. A quick close of the app and opening it up again later, and here we are inside my farm. And this is actually the farm I share with my girlfriend. We made this using the Steam Deck connected up to the PC in 2-player co-op mode, and I've taken that save file from my Steam Deck and transferred it over here to the secret console version on the Odin 2 portal. And I have to say, this is one of the best Stardew Valley experiences I've ever experienced. It's very similar to the Steam Deck experience, but a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter, and easier to hold. Also, the OLED screen here just looks absolutely beautiful. Unsurprisingly, in a small, easy to run game like this, you're going to get a locked on 60 frames per second. And you might see it's actually technically fluctuating between 58 and 59, but you know what I mean. It's an incredibly smooth experience. And if I wasn't staring at the number here, dropped down by 1 frame per second every now and again, I'd have no idea. I know there are a few Stardew Valley fans out there in my community, and a few really big Stardew Valley fans in my community, so if you would like to play it, here is a good option. I think the only thing probably missing is mod support, which is why it might be worth using the Winlater version of Stardew Valley to get all your mods working, and that's something I will be looking into soon. I took the Retroid Pocket 5 on a 34-hour journey from Korea to Scotland last November, and the game I played the most more than any other was FIFA 18. It's one of my favourite games to play on the Retroid Pocket 5. The only gripe I really have with it is that it's completely analog stick based, and using the device in this position for a long time, it kind of begins to hurt your thumb a little bit after a while. I can play for maybe about 45 minutes to an hour, but after that I really need to rest my thumb. So in comes the Portal 2, which solves that problem by having the analog stick at the top and making it much more comfortable. You might be able to see we once again have some weird graphical glitching going on, something that isn't present on the Retroid Pocket 5. So again, we are going to need to play around with the drivers and see what we can do to fix this. That was using the default system driver, so let's try using one of our turnip drivers, such as that 25.1.0. I find that that runs the best if the game will launch, but some games just simply won't load with that chosen. And in that case, it's best to go down to the 24.0.0 driver, which might be a little bit less performant but more stable. After waiting for a little bit of time, it does seem that the game is not launching with that 25.1.0 driver, so let's try and switch that to the 24.0.0 driver that I am finding is pretty stable so far. And this time the game loads up right away. So let's see if the turnip driver will fix those graphical glitches. Back into the game now, and the graphical glitches have all been fixed. The only issue we have with FIFA is there's no HUD at the bottom of the screen, and there's no indicator over the players' heads. And that is not an issue with the Portal itself, it's the same problem on the Retro Pocket 5. It's unfortunately just an issue with FIFA games on the secret console. It does make the game a little bit trickier to play, but I still find this is the best overall experience when it comes to performance and gameplay. And this game really helped me get through that 30-hour travel, so I'm happy that it runs really nice and smoothly here at 1080p. And it also feels very comfortable with this stick placement at the top. What a ball! Oh, the touch was terrible. He'll just do it all by himself. So after scoring that glorious goal, let's now move on to the game I think I'm going to be playing the most on this, and that is Creature Intersection. This game's running really smoothly. Unfortunately, it's getting dark where I am right now, and if you don't know, this game actually mirrors real time. So when it's dark outside, it's dark in the game, which makes it a little bit tricky to see. I was playing this during the daytime yesterday, and this looked incredible on this screen. So much better than the actual console itself. It was kind of breathtaking, and I think I'm going to be playing this a lot from now on. This is going to be one of my go-to games for sure. If you are a fan of this game, you will absolutely love this experience playing it on here. The frame rate is basically locked at 30 and it's really smooth. A lot of games have to load in textures when you unlock new areas, but on this game you are confined to your little island. So once that shader cache has been built up one time, it's going to be a really smooth experience for the rest of the time that you play. So it's really well suited for a game like this. I'm trying to find a fish to show you. Unfortunately, it seems like my island is completely barren of any kind of wildlife. So I'll include more daytime clips of this soon, including that big video I'm making on Wednesday, so look out for that. But with all this talk of games you can play, I would like to introduce you guys to a really exciting new event on the Ryan Retro channel, which is Game of the Week. From now on, every Monday, we're going to decide on one game we want to play, and we're all going to play it together. I spend a lot of my time tinkering around with all different consoles, trying different drivers, different resolutions, trying to bring you guys lots of helpful information. But at the same time, it means I don't really ever have any time to actually play a game properly. So with this new Game of the Week event, what we'll do is we'll all choose one game we want to play, and we'll all play it at the same time and talk about it with each other. In order to make this work, I've set up a new Discord channel called Game of the Week, where we can all talk about the game of the current week, share screenshots, video recordings, tips and tricks, funny moments, and all just have some fun actually playing games with our devices. And the Game of the Week starts today, April 7th. So how can we choose the Game of the Week? Well, back a couple of months ago, I set up a Patreon where viewers could help support me in this retro gaming venture of mine. And I promised those Patreon supporters they would be able to choose the Game of the Week we play. So over the past few days, the Patreon supporters have been voting on which game they'd like to play. And I would like to say a huge thank you to all of the names on screen right now for helping support the channel, and your votes have been heard. And if you'd like to help support the channel and vote for next week's Game of the Week, please consider joining my Patreon page. It really helps me out a lot and means a lot to me. So what is the first Game of the Week? Well, the Patreons have been voting and they have chosen Cassette Beasts. This, I think, is a really good choice. It's kind of like a mix of Pokemon mixed with old retro cassettes, which I think really suits the channel. As you can see here, it's available for the secret console, but it's also available for Android, iPhone, PC, and Xbox, and it's even part of Xbox Cloud Gaming. So if you have a subscription to Xbox Cloud Gaming, you can just pick it up there too. It's a game that looks really fun and very accessible on many devices. So whether you have something like an Odin 2 Portal, a Retroid Pocket 5, or you just play games on your phone, you can download this game now and join in with us. So I hope to see you over on the Discord channel where we'll talk all things Cassette Beasts and have a really fun time together. And in next Monday's video, I'll talk about all those fun moments, I'll show you how far I got in the game, I'll share some fun moments from our community, and I'll announce the new game of the week, as voted for by the Patreons. If you'd like to buy your own Odin 2 portal, just like the one I have here, to play all these amazing games with a 120Hz screen and a powerful processor, check out my affiliate link in the description, which will take you to the official AYN Odin website, and any purchase will also help out the channel. Thank you once again everyone for watching this video. I hope it was helpful or enjoyable for you. If it was, please give me a like and subscribe if you didn't already, and I'll see you again on Wednesday for the next video. Thank you once again for watching. Bye.